Just give it to me. Give me any job I can get. So if I get a job now, does it guarantee me a work visa?
No.
So I'm tied to the job. I can't apply.
And they can't sponsor you after 2 years.
And if I leave the job, I have to pay them £15,000.
What?
This is just wrong.
Yeah.
This is exploitation.
It is. Like, the only reason why people think you will be successful, like, finding a job here and working here is because of the exchange rate.
If I don't qualify for it, maybe a work visa or a skilled work visa or, any other visa that I'm trying to apply for, if I don't qualify for that, will buying a house help me get a different kind of visa?
No.
Nah.
Yeah.
It's a fear of rejection, I would say. That is the biggest problem.
We always operate from fear rather than just being fearless.
Wherever life takes us, I'm going to make the best of it.
Dreams are valid.
Your dreams are
my
valid.
dreams are valid.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Chronicles of an Immigrant podcast. I'm sure you already know me, but if you're new to this place, my name is Mo. And yes, so today I have somebody very special because I am in the business of bringing special people to this place. But before I introduce you to this special person, please pause and subscribe to our channel, please. And if you already subscribed, share with your friends and tell them that please subscribe to this podcast. So thank you very much. So I'm going to introduce you to our guest. But what are we doing here today? We are here to answer all the migration questions that people have compiled, trying to just clarify some myths and trying to help people really. That's why we're here. And we're going to go to...
Hi, I'm Megan.
Hi, Megan.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And thank you so much for coming.
No, of course. It was such an honor. I love what you do.
Thank you. I met Megan on LinkedIn, just like how I met everybody else.
Yeah, LinkedIn brings people together.
Definitely. We should leverage more of social media, shouldn't we? Yeah. So, Megan, do you want to tell us where you're from and how long you've been in the UK for?
Yeah.
Just give us a bit of introduction.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Malaysia, very small country. I moved here in 2021 to pursue my law degree at the University of Manchester. And then I always knew I kind of wanted to go into human rights and international law. So that's how I found myself in immigration law.
Okay.
I recently passed my IA level 1 exams and I'm in the process of studying towards my SQE.
Okay.
So love studying. Never ending.
You love studying?
Yeah, a lot of studying.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
No, I don't love studying.
Oh, okay.
But it's a lot of studying.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when do you think you'll be done with it?
Hopefully next year.
Okay.
The end of next year.
So what does the end goal look like?
I hope to qualify as a solicitor eventually, an immigration solicitor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm wishing you all the best.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't
Hopefully I pass.
You're going to pass. People that come on this podcast, they do great things.
Oh my God.
And it's going to be an exception.
Okay. Yeah, I better not. It'll be a bit embarrassing.
So how was life in Malaysia before you came to the UK though?
Life in Malaysia is great. It's always sunny, always nice. People there are very relaxed, I would say. They smile more.
Okay.
I don't think it was a big culture shock coming to the UK. It's not very big, but
Why do you think so?
I think because people in Malaysia speak English.
Okay.
We speak 3 languages: Malay, Chinese, English. So, but mostly everyone speaks English too. And yeah, Malaysia was also colonized by England before, so there is still a bit of a culture there, I guess you could say. But the food in Malaysia is just a lot better.
Do people think that? Do you get this thing that people think Malaysia is you're Chinese rather than you?
Yeah, I do. They're like, "Oh, are you from China?" Well, but my ancestors are from China. My great grandfather is from China, and then he immigrated to Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know. I would say I'm Malaysian.
Yeah.
Just like how if you're born in England, you say you're English.
Yeah. I get it. Because sometimes there's a misconception that when you don't travel a lot.
Yeah, when you don't travel, when you don't
travel a lot, you're stuck in your own bubble, in your own continent, or your own country. You just think that, that's China, right?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so let's go into you. we're gonna answer I'm gonna run you through some myths.
Okay.
And you're gonna say, okay, is it true or false?
Okay.
And then before we take the questions. So the first one is, if you marry a British citizen, do you automatically get a UK passport?
No, you need to apply for partner visa first, and then you'll be placed on a 5-year route to settlement. And then once you get ILR, you can apply for British citizenship immediately.
So now, so I can't just find, a British guy now and just marry him very, very quickly. And
no, unfortunately. And even if you did marry him or went into a civil partnership with him, you need to show that your marriage is not a sham. Because there are some people who do that. So you need to show your relationship is genuine and subsisting. So the requirements are quite high.
Quite high. Yeah. Okay, what about once you get your ILR, which is your indefinite leave to remain, can you lose it?
Yes, if you leave the UK for more than 2 years. But what most people do if they plan on moving abroad and they don't want to apply for a British passport, you can leave the country and just come back every 2 years just for a trip. And that won't break your ILR.
Because I was thinking that once I just get this ILR, I'm going back to Nigeria.
Yeah, you can. You just have to come back to the UK for a trip every 2 years. Yeah.
So I can come for a trip for maybe 6 weeks and go back again.
Yeah. And that won't break your ILR. Yeah. And if it does break, you have to apply for a returning resident visa.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, that's good. Okay, student visas count towards settlement in the UK. Is that true? Is that true or false?
Not towards 5-year route to settlement, but 10-year route to settlement.
Okay.
So 10 years living in the UK on any valid visa except visitor, short-term student, and seasonal worker, and some others. But yeah, if you're planning to apply for ILR via the 10-year, you can do that. I think most people who are on 10 years, they normally come to the UK as a child student for boarding school, like high school, and then they go on to A-levels, and then uni, and then they do a master's. And then they would have accumulated 10 years by then.
Yeah, we have a couple of friends that they have done that. They came to uni, they did the uni for years, did the masters,
then PhD, then graduate. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of money though, if you think about it, like that 10 years.
And even after the 10 years, you still have to pay for your indefinite leave to remain.
And then your British, it's so much money. Sometimes I think it's a lot of money.
Yeah, sometimes just even ask ourselves the question, is even what's the money we pay?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Even UK unis, is it really worth the international fee, which is 2 times, 3 times the amount? Especially now where it's harder to get sponsored work afterwards. You're like, is it worth it?
Is there a return on your investment?
Yeah, exactly. Is there a return on your investment?
Yeah, but the thing about it, I was talking to a guy that wants to come and study in the UK, and I was telling him that, there's no return on investment. There's no return on your investment if you come. If you spend all the amount of money and come to the UK, there is no return on your investment. But people don't necessarily understand until they come to the system and see that.
Yeah, and then they see. Me too. When I first came, most people in Malaysia, if you can afford it, you will go abroad to studies because our education system is, I wouldn't say bad, but it's not amazing. And, parents want the best for their child. Yeah. Especially education-wise. I think in Asian culture, education is a big thing. So a lot of people will either go to Australia, America, or England. And I always thought wow, the only reason why people think you will be successful, finding a job here and working here is because of the exchange rate. But if you don't if you don't compare the exchange rate, I would say it's quite the same, working in Malaysia or working in England.
Yeah, because the thing about, I can relate to that actually, because when you're in Malaysia, or for me, Nigeria, you're comparing the salary, you're converting it to the currency. You're not thinking of how much you're going to be spending in the country.
Yeah, it does work out to be about the same.
Your standard of living doesn't really...
Yeah, and then you think about taxes too. Yeah. I think your tax less in Malaysia. I can't say for Nigeria, but for us, we have to pay not just quite a bit of tax, but also we pay twice the national insurance and IHS fees. So we contribute a lot to the NHS. And I don't think I've ever used the NHS since living here. I self-medicate because I can't even get a GP.
There's no, do you know the first time when I came my first year in uni and I was having really bad, that was before I was diagnosed of acid reflux. I was very, very uncomfortable. And I called my GP. They gave him an appointment 2 months. I'm like, I'm going to die at this rate.
I'm dead.
In 2 months, I'll be dead.
Yeah.
I had to, do you know what to do? I had to tell them that I was dying.
Oh, and then you called 111.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did that once when I had like gum infection. I was like, please, like it's bleeding.
I'm dying. I'm dying. And
then you get an appointment. Yeah.
That's how you get an appointment. Okay, so let me tell you. If your visa expires, the next one.
Mm-hmm.
If your visa expires, you have 28 days grace period to stay legally in the country. Is that true or false?
No, you have 14 days now. So you have 14 days. Yeah. You have 14 days to apply for a new visa. You have 14 days to apply for a new visa after your BRP expires or immigration status expires to not be counted as like an overstayer. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think it used to be 28 days.
Yeah,
and I think they shortened.
Yeah.
They shortened it to 14 days.
They're not making life easier, are they?
No, they're not.
Okay, so buying a house in the UK, and does it help me get a visa or settlement?
Yeah, so buying a house is not a requirement, nor is it something that gives you automatic settlement, but I would say it's indirectly beneficial in showing that you have adequate accommodation in the UK, your financial stability, your intention to settle permanently in the UK and make the UK your home, as well as your financial ties to the UK.
Okay.
But it's not a requirement. What's more important, I would say, is obviously meeting the qualifying period, the continuous residency period, and as well as meeting the English language requirement, passing your life in the UK test, and etc.
Yeah, because sometimes I feel like if we buy a house, does it really make me like, if I don't qualify for it, maybe a work visa or a skilled work visa or any other visa that I'm trying to apply for, if I don't qualify for that, will buying a house help me get a different kind of visa?
No. They used to have like investor visa, but I think they closed that route now because it drew a lot of like Russian oligarchs who are like, we don't want it.
Yeah. Okay. So, and the last one, if you have a British child, do you automatically get UK residency?
Yes, if you are separated from your partner who's a British citizen, or if you have sole responsibility for that child, you can apply for a parent of a British child visa. So it's under the family visa route.
Oh, but what if you had the child in the UK and the child
has no status?
Yeah.
So if the child was born in the UK but no status, the child can qualify for British citizenship when they reach, I think it's age 7 or 10, and then you can apply under human rights ground.
Interesting. Interesting.
I'm about to give birth.
Maybe I should go give birth now and start as my backup plan. Plan B. Okay. Does having a UK job offer guarantee me a work visa? So if I get a job now, does it guarantee me a work visa?
No. I mean, it depends. If you're on like student visa, when you work part-time, or graduate visa, you can still get a job offer. You can still work. But then when your visa ends, you need to have that conversation on whether they want to sponsor you or do you have to leave.
That's the hardest conversation you can ever have.
Yeah, it is. It's quite difficult, I think.
Yeah.
But I think that's what a lot of people on graduate visas are facing now. But people, like, companies will still hire you.
Yeah.
Even if they know they can't sponsor you, like, later on. But, they know that you'll be there for 2 years. Yeah. But definitely if you are on a graduate visa, and I think have that conversation early on with your boss and say, I'm only here on a 2-year visa. And after that, is there a future here with the company? Yeah.
The only question is, a lot of people right now that, although they're on a graduate visa now, but they can't even get jobs on the graduate visa because they're not even jobs to get.
Yeah. I think it is possible, but I think maybe companies now, when they see you on a graduate visa, it's kind of a 2-year fixed term contract where they are we can't sponsor you afterwards. So you're only here for 2 years.
Speaking of which, that just reminded me of something. When I finished my uni at Lancaster.
Did you have graduate visa then?
Yes, I did. Actually did. So after I finished my uni at Lancaster, I applied for a graduate visa and I got this company because I didn't really know the direction of my career path I really wanted to go.
Yeah, who knows?
At that time, you just apply for everything and anything. Just give me a job.
Especially if you need a work visa, you're just give it to me.
Just give it to me. Give me any job I can get. So I applied for this job, and this job was as a business analyst. And that was the course I went to study in Lancaster.
Yeah.
And they gave me it was in London. And they gave me a fixed term contract.
Was it like a graduate program?
I won't call it not
like,
really. It wasn't
okay.
a graduate program. And looking back, I think that company was shady.
Yeah.
So it was they called it a fixed term contract. So I asked them. At that time, I didn't really know anything, but I knew the questions to ask.
Yeah,
because
good.
The question to ask was, at the end of these 2 years, what does it look like for me?
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And then I asked them, so what happens after this 2-year contract? They said, I'll have to get another job. And the contract was that I cannot leave the job in 2 years. So I'm tied to the job. I can't apply.
And they can't sponsor you after 2 years.
Yeah, and if I leave the job, I have to pay them £15,000.
What? Pay them?
Yes.
But what did you get in return though? Like, are they paying for your studies or
no?
Nothing?
No.
That's so weird.
I had to pay them £15,000 if they.
Is that even legal?
Like looking at it in hindsight, I just felt uneasy. But so what that job what the job now did was they said, when I read the contract, I was not comfortable, and they told me that the work is if I'm on the bench. So because the data analyst role, so they call themselves consultants. So they find jobs, they do. So if I'm on the bench, that means I'm not working at that time.
Yeah.
My salary is half of it should be.
Huh?
And if I'm working, I get more money. So
what?
Like, you say that it's shady, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time. Like my mind was just telling me that this is just wrong.
Yeah.
This is exploitation.
It is. Yeah. You need to shame and name.
And all of us that were on that, like all of the people that they got at that time were all immigrants.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. A lot of like companies, well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are companies out there that will exploit people who need a visa.
Yeah.
Like I've had my experience too working for a company that, they promised me they'll give me a work visa. But turns out like the situation at that employment was just really, really bad. As in the work environment, bullying, just unreasonable expectations.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking like, thank God I was like, no, let's not do a work visa just yet. Like, let me see how it goes first. Because imagine being tied to a company for like 3 or 5 years, like working in that horrible condition. I'm telling you, my mental health was like gone by the end. Like I think I only stayed there for like 4 months, but it was just horrible.
Longest 4 months of your life.
Yeah, longest 4 months of my life. I think I like visibly aged too. Yeah. It was crazy.
Okay, so we didn't actually touch on how you move in, like your visa status.
Oh yeah.
So how was your when you came to the UK? What you had to go on a student visa, I assume. Then after the student visa,
so I'm on a graduate visa now.
Okay.
And I'm gonna apply for a partner visa afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how does a partner visa look like?
Yeah. So if you married or if you're in a civil partnership with a British citizen, or if you've been in a relationship of at least 2 years with a British citizen or person of settled status, then you are eligible to apply. Yeah. They've removed, it used to be 2 years living together.
Okay.
But they've removed that requirement now.
So it's 2 years. So you don't have to, does that mean you don't have to live together?
Yeah, you don't have to live together. If you can show valid reasons as to why you're not living together, whether it's like work, study, cultural reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Keeping my options open.
Yeah, keep your options open. I think it just allows more. I did think hard about it. Like, do I want a work visa or partner visa? But I think I spent the last year like thinking this through. And I think if you want a work visa, you have to either move to London where the salary is higher.
Okay.
Or be in a more like senior position, I guess. Yeah.
It's harder now.
Because even graduate programs, they will like specifically say, no visa sponsorship unless you're in like London, Reading, where down south basically. And I didn't want to be in a position where I'm like stuck with a company that I hate. Because you spend more time with your colleagues than you do like with your loved ones. Like that's crazy. True. So I think it's just better. Well, true. It suits what I want from life at the moment.
I like that. But do you have so this partner visa, what if it was a, let's say the person I'm currently with is not a British citizen, but the person has a skilled work visa, for instance?
Yeah, then
can I apply for a partner visa in that case?
You'll be applying for a dependent visa. So you're a skilled worker dependent visa. Be a dependent on the main applicant.
Basically. Okay, but do I have to be legally married to the person?
No. So you just have to be in a 2-year relationship or married or civil partnership. Yeah.
Okay.
But it will reset the clock though. Like, say you're a skilled worker dependent, and then later on you become a skilled worker, it will reset the clock for your 5-year route to settlement.
So right now I'm on a skilled work visa. If, for instance, something happens that I can't be on a skilled work visa anymore, and I go on a dependent visa. So the 2 years I've been on a skilled work visa
doesn't count towards your 5-year route to settlement. You like reset, the clock resets. But it's quite weird because it's still in the same category-ish, skilled worker.
That is...
Yeah. But you can combine like skilled worker and other work visa routes like global talent and other stuff.
But does it count? But all of it will count to the 10-year route, but not the 5-year route.
No, it counts to the 5-year route. So if you say you're on a skilled worker now, something happens and you switch to like global talent, then you still have that 5 years. The clock doesn't reset.
And what I mean is like the ones that the clock reset. For instance, if I'm on the skilled work visa and I then move to a dependent visa.
Yes, it counts towards the 10-year.
Okay, good. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so let's go to the questions that everybody has asked, you know, and then we can take it from there. The first question says that I am currently working on a graduate visa and working for company X, but my visa will end soon. How can I professionally approach the organization knowing that my current role doesn't meet the sponsorship criteria, but my experience qualifies me for higher roles in the company? So this person
doesn't qualify for work visa, but a higher role would.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this question like comes up a lot, especially since the Home Office plans to reform the point-based system and has increased the salary threshold, has made it more expensive to sponsor people with sponsorship fees and COS fees. But I think if you've worked there, assuming like you've worked there for 2 years of your graduate visa, you obviously built a relationship with management already.
Yeah.
So I think you should approach it like a conversation, highlight your value to the company, as well as how your long-term goals align with the company's mission or values. And then you can also mention how if you're on a graduate visa, you're eligible to be paid the new entrant salary of £30,960. So yeah. And also I read somewhere that if a company sponsors you for like 5 years, and assuming you work on like a 37.5 hour contract work week, I think the sponsorship cost only works out to be like 30p an hour or something like that.
Oh yeah, when you break it down like that,
I think
it looks like that.
Yeah, companies want to see numbers, you know, they want to see like tangible results and action. So I think if you approach it like that, it might work for you.
I remember it's always hard bringing that conversation in.
It is so awkward for no reason.
Yeah, but why is that, you think?
I don't know. I think it's kind of like, for me, like when I bring it up, I'm always like, I don't want them to think that I'm only asking, or I only want this job because I want them to sponsor me. But in reality, it kind of is like I only want that job if they're able to sponsor. Because if not, like the reality is that I'm going to have to leave the country.
That is the reality.
But it is a bit awkward.
It is awkward. And I think also, like, we have to also leverage on the fact that on our skill, I feel sometimes that the reasons why people find it difficult to take a chance on us is because we haven't given them enough reason to. So, and it's not like I'm saying that it's an easy conversation or whatever. Don't get me wrong, because I'm in it and I understand. Because I've gone for interviews before whereby, you know, they give me an offer and they tell me that, we can't sponsor you. After I've proven that, I can actually do the job. So I get that, but I think sometimes, you know, it's a confidence thing, like, and it's the fear of rejection. Like, if I bring this topic up,
you're like, I'm gonna lose.
It's a fear of rejection, I would say. That is the biggest problem. But what's the worst thing that can happen? They'll say no.
And then you move on. Yeah, exactly. Just keep that mentality. But it is quite hard, I think, when you're like facing rejection, and you're like,
it's a brutal thing. It's brutal. I was meditating some days ago, and I do a lot of
I like that.
Meditation and reflections and stuff.
That's good.
I feel sometimes I always live in my worst case scenario.
Yeah, we do. We always operate from fear rather than just being fearless. Like I was reflecting too, and I realized like younger me, I was just so fearless. Whatever I wanted, whatever I set my heart to, I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. I don't think about, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? But I think it's part of adulting when you start thinking about all these like backup plans. And I think maybe it's just being a bit more realistic and, not acting on your dreams and impulse. But my dreams are valid.
Your dreams are
my
valid.
dreams are valid.
Our dreams are valid because what is a life without a purpose?
Exactly. Yeah.
And the reason, and you know what, getting me to this, it's been a journey. I used to tell myself, and my moments of, like, I call it my Zen moments, like when I Zen myself.
Yeah.
My Zen moments are, I ask myself the question is, if I die today, will I have lived a life of impact?
Oh.
Will I have done everything that I could have done while I was on this planet?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, that means that I'm still living in fear.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
I'm realistic because I'm realistic on the fact that I'm going to die one day. That is because sometimes we live like we're not going to die.
Yeah.
We live like we're on this earth forever.
Yeah, that's true. We forget. And time goes by so fast. Yeah.
So fast. Like there's no guarantee that you're going to see tomorrow. So are you living your best life now?
Yeah.
So I feel like when we take out that fear, we can truly live in our purpose.
Yeah.
And live in the reality that wherever you find yourself, whether it's in the UK or in wherever country you find yourself, that you carry a purpose, that wherever you go, that purpose goes with you.
Yeah.
Success goes with you. Your success is not limited to the country that you're in.
Yeah.
Because you have whatever it takes to make it.
Exactly.
Do you get it?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. My dad always said, like, it's so important to live like a purposeful life, or if you're in a place of like privilege, you find a lot of success in your career.
Yeah.
It's always important to give back to society.
Exactly. Because, you're here in the UK now. If you go back to Malaysia, it doesn't mean that your life is not going to be great,
Yeah.
It's just going to be in a different way.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we need to also, do you get what I mean? Like, we have to choose. We can't control our lives really, but we need to lean into the fact that wherever life takes us, I'm going to make the best of it.
Exactly. I love that mindset. I always try and practice like gratitude. Like no matter how horrible of a situation I am, I'm just trying to find the things to be grateful for, really. Because it's like also ties into a bigger thing where life is really just one big perception almost. It's just how you perceive things. If you perceive things as horrible and bad, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah. In short, life is a scam.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about, how do we navigate this e-visa thing?
Oh, yeah. So I think the Home Office has stopped the issuance of BRP since 31st October. And most BRP holders would have a BRP with an expiry date of 31st December 2024. And were instructed to create a UKVI account to access their e-visa. And if you haven't done so, the Home Office has extended this deadline to 1st of June 2025.
Okay.
After which, your expired BRP is no longer a valid proof of your immigration status. So it's relatively easy to set up. Like just create a UKVI account, link your identity document, and I think usually it's processed within a day, and then you get an email confirming that you can access your e-visa.
Okay.
But I think a lot of people have concerns about like international traveling.
That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, but I had no issues like personally. It's normally when you go to the check-in counter, they'll ask for your immigration status, and you just show them your e-visa.
Yeah.
And then they'll check it again when you return to the UK. And then when you arrive in the UK, at the border officer will just scan your passport, and apparently it automatically shows up on their system. So yeah.
Because the last time I traveled, they just asked me for my name and it just automatically showed.
Yeah.
But because I have to apply for a lot of visas, like if I want to travel anywhere, literally anywhere, I need to show like a BRP. Like the BRP card helps with my visa application. But because of this e-visa thing, I don't know, I find it a bit difficult to prove my residence in the UK because there's no card to show it.
So I faced the same issue too, because I no longer had any like UK identity document, which you need like if you get ID, if you want to buy alcohol, for example. So what I did is I just applied for a provisional driving license. It costs like £20, and it's just a UK based identity document I use now. Yeah. So you can't do that.
I don't think I like the world where we're heading to, where everything is online.
It is. I think it's good. I see that what they're trying to do is it makes things easier, but I don't think they have like the proper systems in place to do this yet. Like a lot of my Malaysian clients have issues with extending their visa now. They can't do it through the ID check app where you do it entirely online. So they have to attend a biometric appointment. And that's because the app is not scanning their identity document properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does create more issues now.
Yeah.
But,
and that app thing, after you try a couple of attempts, it locks you off for like 24 hours, then 72 hours. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so I've been like calling the UKVI technical team like once every week, trying to ask them like, is there a solution to this? But no. Yeah, you just have to attend a biometric appointment.
Imagine if I go to a country, for instance, that doesn't have internet in the airport. Yeah. Which actually exists.
Really?
Yeah, it exists. I'm not going to mention it. They don't have internet in the airport. And on my phone with no internet, how do I prove that I'm going to the UK and I travel to a country and I want to go back?
Yeah.
And they're asking me for my residency card. It's online. I don't have internet.
Yeah.
How do I prove it?
Yeah. I mean, you could probably screenshot it.
Those are the problems we're going to face. But let's take the next question. This one is actually a question that I really want to know about. Mm-hmm. It says, is it possible to apply for a further leave to remain in the UK if my skilled work visa or my graduate visa expires? Yeah,
so there's 2 further leave to remains. There's FLRM, which is the marriage category, and FLRFP, which is family and private life. So these are, marriage is if your spouse, partner, to a British citizen, or you have a British citizen child. And then family and private life is more so human rights based. So if you have compelling reason as to why you can't return to the UK, or if you have like a child who doesn't have the status that you need to care for, then you can apply. So, but you can't just apply as a means of extending your stay when you don't meet the requirements. Yeah.
But can I apply on the grounds that, let's say, for instance, I want to seek asylum. This is just a random question. I want to seek asylum. I can't go back to my home country because if I go back, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Can I apply for a further leave to remain on that ground if I'm currently on a skilled work visa or on a graduate visa?
In that case, you would apply for asylum. You would claim asylum in the UK. Private life is more so if you have established like a life here in the UK. Normally people have lived here. A lot of people who apply for that would have lived here in the UK for like 20 years with no status. And then they apply for it. So they have friends, family, perhaps even children here now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But and I know some people get confused. Like, can I just apply for further leave to remain to extend my stay? And I know it's more so like a human rights thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. So, you're doing this law. You're a solicitor. Oh, God, my English. You're a lawyer.
Solicitor lawyer.
Yeah. So, can you give us like ideas on like what has been the most interesting case? If you want to tell us, so what's the most interesting case that you've taken so far in this journey?
I wouldn't say like interesting, as in it's quite sad, really. Actually,
the ones that you will never forget.
Yeah, I did one asylum case before. I was assisting with it, and the applicant was from China. And just hearing his story, like I actually like lost sleep over it. It was very sad. Just the things that he had to endure under the Chinese police. It was just very sad.
And you can't give us more details.
Yeah, I mean, he got his spleen removed. Physical violence, stuff like that.
But in China?
Yeah, in China. He was part of like a movement, I guess, and then the police speaking up really bad, and he had to go into hiding.
So he had to come to the UK to seek asylum.
Asylum. Yeah, and he also had like a child. His wife and younger kid came later, and then they claimed asylum at the border.
That's true. Is it right to? I wouldn't want to call it. Is it right to abuse people like that on the ground? Like somebody's a police officer then?
Yeah. Well, they had injured him so badly that his spleen had to be removed, and it was just it was very sad to hear.
That's sad to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. So before we go, people share their dreams here with us. So
What's my
Megan's
dream?
dreams?
My dream is to live on an island somewhere. You know, drink some coconut water and tan.
Jesus, let's do that.
Cheers.
Come on, let's do that.
Cheers.
Have you found the island you want to live on? So I can go with you, please.
Yeah, Barbara probably.
Okay, coconut water.
Yeah.
I got a tan. That's an interesting dream. I haven't heard that before.
What's your dream?
What is my dream? My dream changes, but I think...
Yeah, my dream changes all the time.
But honestly, I was telling one of my friends yesterday, I said, the goal is, maybe I call it a dream as well, it's all about impact. My life, I want to live a life that's impactful. That's my dream. And how do I know I've gotten to that point? When I get invited to Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace, wow.
Then I know that, yes, my dream is happening.
When you get like knighted. Do girls get knighted?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is a very nice dream.
That's my dream. Yeah. And they're valid.
Sure. Yeah, they are valid.
They are valid.
Aww.
And your dreams are valid too.
Exactly.
So after my Buckingham Palace visit,
we go on a trip. Yeah.
5. Okay, guys. Yeah, we have found an island where we're gonna go once our dreams, once this adult is
once this thing is done.
Once this thing is done, and you can come with us. You know, just doing bigger things. Anyway, so this episode we answered immigration questions, the myths, and we tried to debunk those myths. So thank you for listening. Thank you for staying here. If you haven't subscribed, please and please and please subscribe, and I'll see you guys the next episode. Bye.
Bye.